Judge Glanville's chambers is going to, it's apparently a significant amount of evidence. They're going to basically wheel it down here to this courtroom, and Ms. Taylor, our current court reporter, is going to take possession of it. So that'll happen in the next 10 minutes or so. Can somebody, I guess I could do that, look in Odyssey and find out the date that's on the original re-indictment to put on this one? You know, when they signed, or who's got possession of the signed indictment? So that might still be, is it in here or is it still with, is it making its way downstairs? We need the date, so we need to see the. Yeah, I would think the case manager would have it. Right. All right, have y'all looked at the highlighted language for the proposed ways to handle those couple of overt acts as an A and a B?
Yes, Your Honor. And the state had a proposal to, I think, simplify
Okay.
the matter in terms of starting with.
Just so y'all know, when I dip out, I'm still working, not just doing this. I'm still taking client calls. So I may have to dip out every now and again. So just ignore it and let's just keep following along. I'll catch back up. I just didn't. I know it's a little weird when I just come and go. That's what I'm doing.
With intent to distribute and possession of firearm during commission, which tracks the language.
Okay. So leave all three of them and have those two kind of offenses only.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And for 187, the state's proposal is the same, to remove possession of codeine with intent to distribute and possession of cocaine.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? So would that mean that we would end up with what?
What is essentially 187A and 183A,
Okay,
right?
thank you. That's what it seems to me, and I just want to make sure my.
But those
understanding is
wouldn't say
correct.
A anymore. They would
Right.
just say 183 and 187.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, that works if that's.
And the state, and I can email this, but with our previous discussion on the 133 charges, and the language, the state, if you stop, like for example, take 189 or 190,
Okay.
if you stop after an associate did commit the felony offense of possession of firearm by convicted felon,
Mm-hmm.
and then redline everything up to where you start by possessing a Glock,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would obviously remove for 189 specifically, we would remove the machine gun,
Right. Okay.
and then just pick back up, possession of a firearm in indictment, and then cite the felony and the date, and keep it overt action furtherance.
That works as long as, so the question on the floor for that had been, can an overt act be modified to drop it down to a lesser, essentially? Do we have an answer to that?
Your Honor, I'm going to let Mr. Floyd
Okay.
address that with the court, because we do have a.
Give me just a sec.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I wish I had somebody to at least comment. That would be kind of nice. I hate just talking to a computer. It's peculiar, but I don't really care to hear my own self speak. This is what it's like in court. It's very boring. It can be mind-numbingly boring, but people seem to enjoy it. I guess it matters when you if you're actually doing it for a job, it changes maybe. I don't know. Because it becomes monotonous and normal. I wonder why Detective Thorpe, I think it was Thorpe, never verified Woody's statements. They kind of just took them at face value. There's been no real cooperation.
Of course not. So the approach we took in this,
Not to mention, I was just thinking about this last night, the McDonald's surveillance.
Mhm.
How come there's
Right.
How come that doesn't exist?
I want to be clear.
McDonald's doesn't just delete
Exactly the
stuff.
same situation. But the most analogous thing I can find in the time available is 11th Circuit RICO case, United States v. Watchmaker, spelled exactly as it sounds. 761 second 1459 at 1468. It's a 1985 case.
Okay.
In that situation, analogous to this, the court found there were certain predicate acts for which no evidence had been presented. It removed them from consideration from the indictment that the jury saw.
Right.
That was held not to be a problem.
Okay.
And so here we're removing actually less. We're actually removing a subset of that as it references the specific individual defendant in whichever circumstance we're talking about. The others are not at trial. They would have no ground of complaint.
Right.
They're not parties.
All right.
So I think it's on all three at least. But I can't really find a problem with it because we restricted in this circumstance solely to deletion.
Okay.
It would seem that, I mean, of course, I haven't had a chance to read this Watchmaker case yet, but if they're removing an entire predicate act, that would seem to be more analogous to removing the entire overt act rather than amending the overt act. But again, I haven't read Watchmaker.
Remember, the predicate act
I'm
is
just
the
wondering
thing
if
that they
amending the
based
overt act,
everything
We
on.
would be running into a constructive
And
amendment.
then there has to be an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy or the predicate offense. So RICO is essentially, it is usually states have a conspiracy statute and a complicity statute, which complicity only requires your involvement. It doesn't require planning or preparation or anything like that, or execution of an overt act, similar to aiding and abetting the flight of a fugitive or something like that. You could get them with complicity. RICO essentially does that, but it allows you to go up the food chain all the way to the Don Corleone and nail him for what his lieutenants and street thugs do. So they whack a guy, they can get Don Corleone at the very top. So
Work in the defense's favor to make it easier for the state to prove an overt act.
Yeah, and that thus it's conduct beyond that which would appear in the original grand jury indictment, and that would amount to constructive amendment.
You know, I mean, even I'm reading Watchmaker right now. And part of it says the court did not change the terms of the crime with which Keating was charged.
the state's
Which
wanting to
not changing the
change
crime, but I'm
essentially
changing
the wording of
crime
the
to indictment.
indictment.
I think the safer
To
thing
charge
do
the
is
jury.
just to
You can't.
redact the indictment to remove those overt
Right.
acts. I'm not
That's-
convinced that it might not be error to
I
do
think
the way
Error.
you propose. I think
I think
logically
you're
speaking,
gonna
it
end
sounds
up
like it
getting a
should make
redo.
sense, but in the absence of something that
This
makes
is
it clear to
not
me
good.
that
Of course, that doesn't
It's not
apply
error.
to all those
I
that took
would hate
pleas.
to.
You know, they're still going to be convicted. If
to
these two
borrow a
guys
term from
walk
one of y'all get to
in the next
you
few
know,
days,
90 y'all haven't said
everybody else is going
almost-
to be really pissed at
No,
you.
it was some, never mind. It was some kind of football field reference
But,
that
you
I'm not
know,
going to be able to do right. So just never mind.
Nobody
the
knew.
1 yard line.
You know,
And then, yes, y'all probably
I
said
thought you
2
were
yard
gonna say
line.
we
risky
can
use of
if all
the
day long.
No,
If a
I
frog
don't
had
know
wings,
that
it
there
wouldn't
is
bump its
error
ass
in
every
this
time it
case
hopped. You
at
know,
all. I don't know. There is typically, there are no perfect trials. We know that. It will be up to potentially some other court to determine that issue down the line.
some other
But
court, the Court of
right here
Appeals.
today, I would hate to be on the now 1 yard line and do something that does cause an error that couldn't be corrected.
And-
Oh, you could just play like Alabama and screw the pooch,
It's important.
not score more than 3 points.
Which as we're talking about.
Okay.
So with 183, there's no change.
A 1 yard line.
We're only talking about striking out those specific instances. I
Right.
can't imagine any problem with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was talking more about the possession of a firearm by the.
They're still going over that.
174, 175, 189, and 190.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
With regard to 183 and 187, I think those are fine to have just gotten rid
She
of
just-
the
yeah.
things that I
She needs to
directed
do-
a verdict in Mr. Kendrick's favor.
Yeah.
on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, with regard to.
Yeah, she's right.
I have 2 points.
Okay.
One is, when you're talking about, forgive me if I get the number exactly wrong, but 170, I think it's 174, 175,
Mhm.
89, and 90.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
And so with those, the specter that's been raised is, to paraphrase the defense, the appearance of error where none currently exists, as we are at first in inches.
Mhm,
First in inches.
Because of the way you have instructed the jury
mhm.
to handle the overt acts. If
Who the hell is this guy?
If there's a defect, those in public simply strike into consideration.
Unless they're the only acts they find.
In which case, we would know that as well.
All right.
Because they're gonna number it.
Understood. I'm just going to redact them. Y'all will still have.
Shut
several
up,
hundred
sit the hell
overlaps
down.
For them to evaluate.
Nobody wants to hear from you.
All right, so I am redacting out to delete 174, 175, 189, and 190. I don't know why it won't let me. And then on 183, it will be the language that is now 183A, but it won't say A, it'll just say 183. And then the same with 187. Yes.
This already
Mr.
made
Body
sense, but
shaved his
with
head.
Both of those, of course, redlining or removing the possession of codeine, the intent to distribute possession of cocaine.
Who
on the
gets
bottom. The
codeine?
last version I saw on 183 and 187 still had those.
Like I
included.
remember seeing the
Oh,
bottles,
yeah.
and it looked like it was
I
liquid
think the state may be
codeine.
looking at
I don't know
the
where the hell you would even get it other than a pharmacy.
That's perfect, John.
And I don't. Yeah, they could. Yeah, for
Right.
cough syrup. I guess they robbed a pharmacy or somebody did. I don't know where in the hell you wouldn't get a prescription of it. Not like that.
All right, I think I can't do the rest of it until Ms. Percival comes back because she has the same document up and for some reason it's not letting me.
Oh, there's part of the one of the
Remove the
boxes of
highlights.
evidence.
All right, I see that our mainly physical evidence has arrived from
Yeah.
Judge Glanville's court reporter's office. And Ms. Taylor, our current court reporter, will take possession of it. And do you all know what's going out and what's not? Because the jury has had this case for an hour and a half now, but they haven't been able to deliberate because they're awaiting the evidence. And that is
Because
why
y'all
I've been going
suck.
for the last several weeks.
You cannot get
to
your
make
shit
a
together.
determination about what evidence was going to go out.
Quit
so that we
freaking
would have the
arguing.
case
Figure
with
it
the
out and
evidence
get the
to
fuck
begin
on.
deliberating.
Damn.
So I'm kind of ready for that to happen.
Yeah. Been waiting. Let's go. The hell's on her back under her shirt and her spine? It looks like it's sticking out. The hell? Oh, maybe that's just the zipper. Wouldn't surprise me if it's like an alien coming out of her. Oh, Jesus. My God. This shit should have been done yesterday. They should have stayed late. This case would have been so much easier if they had just indicted them for gang activity, the gang laws. It's been so much easier. It's so much more difficult to prove a RICO. And in a lot of states, way after the feds put Gotti in, is when they started adopting them. I believe the first RICO statutes for the feds was in the 70s. And that's when they finally started being able to snag them. But that's the U.S. government. Fulton County doesn't have the. Look at what it's cost. Look at what it's done. Look at how much pain in the ass this has been for everybody. I don't even want to. I bet the bill is just retarded in cost. It's insane. They could have done this so much easier. But, Fannie ain't going to do it that way. She wants to get her RICO case. Like, she's high-end lawyer. She's just as highbrow. It's odd that she's gone after Giuliani, who actually used RICO to get Gotti. Who would have thought that one? They'll never get him. They'll never get any of them.
All right, Ms. Percival has what we think
They
is
don't
the
have any
final
case on it.
redacted indictment. So
This one was
with
bad
the
enough.
changes we just discussed, so if everybody can take a look at those. They
Saying
start
that
on
the
about
president of the
page,
United
40 or
States
so.
can't challenge an
Just
election.
take a look at those,
and
confirm
call-
that they are what everyone has
speak with the
agreed
governor is.
we're going to
that's
do.
just
And then
absurd.
if so, we'll print it out and that'll be
We
ready.
got
to go
better
the
shit to
juries.
do in this world. We need to get on with, I don't know, not going to
At
World
which
War
time, the
III,
last thing we will be waiting on is the evidence.
but I'll stop the politics. Yeah, yeah. It ain't good, man. I don't know where this cold I've got came from. It's just probably COVID, probably the coof again. I probably have coof all over again. Be like the 37th time I've had it since it came out. It sucks. Hate being sick. Yeah, there's the rest of the evidence.
From getting this to the jury. Perfect. All right, while y'all are doing that, I'm just going to put on the record that with regard to the guns and any other physical evidence that's not going to go out with the jury, for instance, the drugs, the DA
Why
is the
not?
official custodian of that evidence. And so the DA will remain in possession of that evidence, and y'all need to keep that in your locked evidence room. The court reporter is not going to be taking custody of that, the guns and that other type physical evidence that is not going out with the jury.
Why not? Y'all can have a whole lot of fun with all the dope.
I know, right?
Might make the trial more entertaining. I'm surprised they haven't stolen it like they did the watches. There is no way those damn Richard Milles were not. There's no way those were left there. There's no way. I've done crime scene. You would have bagged and tagged every damn thing, especially stuff of
Can some
value.
member from each team be dealing with the rest of what's just paper
Instead,
evidence
they're
and making
claiming
sure that
they left
everybody
it.
is on board and on the same page with regard to that?
What? You wouldn't leave it in a
All right.
RICO because you're trying to seize property.
Okay, I
That's
am
like
ready
saying,
to
oh, the
hand all of
Ferrari
this
can
to the
stay.
jury
We don't
in the
need
next
that. We
5
want the
minutes.
Ford
So
Pinto
whatever needs
out
to get
back.
done, let's do it now.
No, they take both. It's absolute bullshit. It's bullshit. They stole it. I'm not sure that cop, although he was wearing what looked like one, it was a rose gold. And I think the serial numbers, at least on one, was that it was a titanium Richard Mille. He did not. They don't have a rose gold colored titanium for Richard Mille. I don't know what the other one was with the pink strap, but he definitely didn't have a pink strap. So it could have been, and he just swapped straps. I don't know. There's a lot of replicas, and there's a lot of homages on the market that, from a distance, you can't tell.
Then y'all will have to wheel it over and we'll display it in the courtroom. No,
No.
no. I mean, they might deliberate for a month and a half. We might
Yeah.
need to. I'm going to be using this courtroom for the other defendants in this indictment. So no.
Holy shit, they're going to go with the other ones? Oh, my God. Y'all, we ain't never going to be done with this shit. Holy moly. They're going to, oh, my God.
Okay.
They're going to actually do those after this?
All right.
Wow. As I said again,
Can you make sure that
they could have done this in chunks.
444Y and 1A?
They're doing it already in chunks. They could have chunked it up.
I think maybe Ryan, I don't know, something to do with, no, I don't know what they were. I just have a note to myself that those
That's
are
how I've
continuing.
done it. It's like assholes. Everybody's got one. Opinions are like assholes.
I've looked at the revised indictment that we just received, and it's acceptable to me.
Thank you.
Stillwell's falling asleep on us.
Please, or something like that.
Wake up, boy. I'm surprised the old man ain't falling asleep next to him. What was that? Did y'all catch that? I heard somebody talking. Who the hell is talking? Yeah, they're done. I didn't know if it was Miss Love or the judge. Couldn't tell. And it ain't the judge. She ain't sitting there. Had to be Love or somebody. That makes sense.
All right, and I'm just going to put on, Ms. Taylor, I'm going to put on the record that I realize if you put on the record for me, put on the record for me. Give me a second.
Okay.
All right, so 1AS that I referenced.
I'm
before,
trying to
I
find
realize
an
that is
example of a jury charging
the exhibit
documents.
number from Mr. Sledge's
Y'all bear with me.
brief, and
I'm
it's
gonna
not
hopefully be able to
the
get it
exhibit
up.
number for this trial. The exhibit
Sweet.
number for this trial is 444Y. They were just the same thing. Yeah. It's in evidence, but I don't think it would go out. They're the same. No, that was it. It was 1AS, but that's not an exhibit to this trial. So it was just the way that exhibit was referenced in Sledge's agreement. So don't worry about that at all. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see if I can't get this up on here. Oh, it closed it off. Great. Yeah, let's see if I can get this. Don't tell me they're about to start. Yeah. Let me. Of course, they're about to start. I'm going to pause it. Let me show you this. This at least to give you an idea of what the hell they're even talking about. Otherwise, if you've never done it, you don't know. You just know it's a document. That's it. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, why does it do that? I'm trying. I've got a Mac and it won't let me bring up a native Macintosh document. It has to be converted. Let's try it. PDF. Finally, come on. Let's go. I ain't got all day. There we go. Now I can do it. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And processing. Come on. Let's go, man. Got all damn day. Thank you. Finally. All right. Let's see if I can't zoom in. Probably not. Let's see. I don't need that. Where is... Well, shit. I can't... No, I don't want a new layout. Okay. Is there a way to zoom on this? Well, that sucks. What a freaking $40 a month. I can't freaking choose how to zoom in. This sucks. Damn it. I hope you can see it. Hell, I can't. God. Anyway. We'll just go with it. Jury charge. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. After the closing arguments, that's where we're at, you will go to the jury room to decide the case, answer the questions that are attached, and this is for Harris County, Tennessee. I just pulled it off the internet, and reach a verdict. You may discuss the case with other jurors only when all are together in the jury room. Remember my previous instructions. That was from this morning. Just remember that. Do not discuss the case with anyone else, either in person or by other means. Do not have independent investigations about the case or conduct any research. Do not look up any words in dictionaries or the internet. Do not post info about the case. Do not share any special knowledge or experiences that you have with other jurors. Do not use your phone or any electronic devices during deliberations for any reason I will give you a number where others may contact you in case of an emergency. You ain't got nothing in there. It's just you and other people. Any notes that you have taken are for personal use. You may take your notes back with you, but do not show or read the notes to your fellow jurors for deliberations. Not even to, you can't even do it to explain it to another juror. Better just be able to articulate it. Your notes are not evidence. Each of you should rely on your independent recollection of evidence and not be. Hence, why they're saying that is because that's why they didn't want the CAD reports, because they've already been testified to. They used it to refresh their recollection when the officers did when they testified. They've testified. You should have remembered it. I don't know how it's supposed to happen over a 1 year period. Again, back to the why they shouldn't have charged him like this. You must leave your notes with the bailiff when you are not deliberating. The bailiff will keep your notes or will give your notes to me promptly after collecting them from you. I'll make sure your notes are kept in a safe, secure location from anyone. After you complete your deliberations, the bailiff will collect your notes. They'll destroy them once they're done. Do not let bias, prejudice, sympathy play into any parts of your decision. Base your answers only on the evidence. You are to make up your own minds about the facts. You are the sole judges of the credibility of the witnesses and the weight to give their testimony. But on matters of law, you must follow my instructions. That's what she's talking about, what they argued with today with the indictment. That's going to go back. There's going to be some instructions as to matters of law. I don't like that a judge is the sole determiner of that. I've always thought the jury should be sole determining, the ones that solely determine matters of law and fact. I mean, they are the jury. They're the reason why we have them. You can't have everybody in the state of Georgia appear in a jury. It's just, that's democracy by, mob rule. So juries are literally a republic of law. We elect a few, and they take the place of the many. All the questions and answers are important. No one should say that any question or answer is unimportant. Answer yes or no to all questions unless told otherwise. A yes answer must be based on the preponderance of the evidence unless you're told otherwise. Whenever a question arises or requires an answer other than yes or no, it must be based on the preponderance of evidence you were told otherwise. This one looks like it's more for civil, but it gives you an idea of what, here we go. Instructions for presiding juror. After you retire to the jury room, you'll select your own presiding juror. That's the foreman. The first thing the presiding juror will have to do is have this complete charge read aloud, and you'll deliberate upon your answers to the questions asked. It's the duty of the presiding juror or foreman to preside during deliberations, to see that your deliberations are conducted in an orderly manner and in accordance with the instructions in this charge. Write out and hand to the bailiff any communications you need, to vote on the questions, to write your answers to the questions in spaces provided, and to certify your verdict in the space provided for the presiding juror's signature to obtain the signatures of all the jurors who agree with the verdict. They'll poll the jury once it's done. They'll say, juror number 1, is this your true verdict? Yes. Juror number 2, is this your true verdict? Yes. Do you let's see, instructions for signing the verdict certificate, and then here's where all of them they would sign, saying, "Hey, we found it's unanimous or it's not unanimous, whatever." Like this looks, I could be wrong. This looks like it's probably a civil one. But they're similar. The execution is similar. They're not. It's not that different. So, let's see here. Let me get out of full screen. Go back to here and present. Go back to this here. And I hate having to jump back and forth.
They're all right there in the middle, right there. Yeah. Oh, right there. That's everything. Oh, is that in here? Wait, that is not there. The indictment. With the printed out.
Say they got to print the indictment. That shit should have been done. That's ridiculous. This is what a clusterfuck of a
All those
case.
demonstratives that are right there go. Okay, thank you.
Sucks.
Your Honor, this is just for the purposes of the record. The state has reviewed the revised indictment and it's going to be printed. I was just going to put for the record that the state would object to the removal of the 133 counts, overt acts, that are 174, 75, 189, and 190. Thank you, Your Honor.
She's waiting for the.
You got here?
Yes.
This,
You can use the lid, just don't give me that paper.
I'll just read.
No, they're. Oh, okay. What happened?
What?
The over there, LT.
I would kill the stream and come back later so everybody can go potty or have something to eat because it's 1:30. I haven't had breakfast or dinner. So I've had a nice sugar Pepsi though. I don't think anything's going to happen for the next 30 minutes. But so my advice is to fast forward. I wish real life could be done that way sometimes. They're still waiting on something. I'm not. I'm not sure they're going to get a conviction. I really don't think it's going to take the jury more than a day and a half. I'd be shocked if it took more than 6 hours at this point. Clearly, Sharp and Weinstein do not think they have proven a goddamn thing because they didn't even offer anything for their case in chief. Which, hey, they're not required to. They don't have to offer anything for the case in chief. You don't even have to talk. You can just sit there.
All right, while the jury
Mute.
is deliberating, Ms. Persfield's going to check to make sure she has a cell phone number for each of the attorneys, because obviously we have no idea when and or if they might want to ask a question or look at evidence.
Yeah.
And so we all need to be on
And
standby.
then,
We're all still in
and then
trial.
they'll just bump back
And I
in
need for people to be able to get here,
last moment
in
notice.
5 minutes time. Ideally. If you have a special place you need to be, we can talk, but in short order. And obviously the defendants will continue to come over each day.
It's
that
going to
the
be
jury
very
is
boring sitting around that
deliberating,
courtroom
so that
waiting.
they can also be available to come to the courtroom if need be.
Usually in cases like this, the judges I've had, they'll let you, if
I
it's
have been
going
advised that the court has already stated this.
more
The
than,
jury in their
few
deliberations
hours, they'll
today,
let you
but
go
it's scheduled
home.
for them
Oh,
tomorrow.
it's in what time?
and then call you.
Well, I have instructed them through the deputies that they need to stay at least until 5. If they want to stay beyond that, they're free to. I mean, not past 7 ever, which I don't think they're going to want to anyway.
You get them the damn instructions, they might be able to get a verdict by then. I mean, it's 2:36 Eastern. I'm in Central Time, so hell, it didn't even start till like 11 o'clock. I mean, or
All right,
maybe
and
later.
so they would like to continue to come in and start at 9, which is fine with me. So I'm going to say, just like a regular day,
Okay.
9 to 5 with a lunch break.
All right,
There will be days that
cool.
the court provides lunch for them, and on those days, they can choose to deliberate during their working lunch if they want to, or they can not deliberate and just take a break and eat.
Wonder what they
I'll
get.
make it clear that they can only deliberate when all 12 of them
It's
are there
prison
together.
food. I can tell you for
With
them other
regard to
boys
tomorrow,
right
since it
now.
is the day before
It's-
Thanksgiving, I'm going to say that they can leave at 3. And I mean, other than that, if
Great.
there is some day or time that we need to alter that
Shit,
schedule, we'll
they
just
need to
take
be
it up
there
as it
5
comes.
And
o'clock.
if they,
Get
and
the shit over
don't
with.
need to ask for such detail, but if they decide to stay past 5, will we be notified of that so that we know to stay around the courthouse after 5? Or if they decide to stay after 3 tomorrow, will we be notified of that? I just want to make sure I don't leave the courthouse if they decide to deliberate late.
Sure.
If I have cell phone numbers for everybody, I can just, I'll do a fun group text chain and then text everybody what the schedule is going on, very briefly.
Thank you.
Friday.
No, Friday was already scheduled as a holiday date a long, long time ago.
Gotta have Black Friday.
May I approach?
Oh, no, I can after that. I'm gonna make sure we do this first and then. Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God, that's hilarious.
We're only using WhatsApp. Come on.
Now they wait. We still haven't officially sent them back, I don't believe, with all of the documents. I'm not sure they've officially begun deliberating.
Yeah, she's getting it, yeah. It's, yeah, my printer decided to be. And mine of its own.
I wonder what Love and Hilton are talking about.
Oh, no, I get it. It's your system, so it doesn't look good to me. I know, right? We didn't say anything, but glad. We didn't say anything.
Sounds like me. Let's see if I can't skip some of this. This is starting to suck.
All right, with that, that is everything. The jury has the case.
Yep.
And we are in
Hey,
recess
good.
until such time as we hear from the
That's what I
jury.
thought. Yep, they've got it. We're done. We wait now for their verdict. And that's it. Yep. All right. That's gonna be it, guys. I'll catch up and try to break in when we finally get a verdict. Okay. Yep. Thank you.